Russ Holbrook, our Assistant Superintendent of HR and Operations.
Thank you. In August, there was a move to start a study, and that's what I'd like to discuss with you this evening. And the purpose of the study was to take a look at the cabinet level positions to identify the roles and responsibilities of each person, to talk about the reporting structures, to update the position descriptions, and we also talked about how we could articulate our purpose along with those things. So this evening what I want to do is start really from a macro view and kind of come down to more of on the ground level. But when you take a look at an organization, it's structured in such a way that it can help get the work done. And essentially when you find that there's, for instance, poor communication or miscommunication, it often can be traced back to the organization structure. So it is very important to take a look at that initially. So in this study, we can see, I think we can see, what am I getting here? Hang on here. All right, what is going on? So we're going to start with one of the, I think I need some assistance here. Oh, I need to use my mouse. I apologize for that delay. All right, so here we can see the various organization charts. And what we did is we started with the Board of Education, because the organization is governed through the Board of Education. So here we can see the various members of the board, and then the superintendent reports to the board, and the two direct reports of the superintendent. So I'm just going to give you kind of a lay of the land, and you can look at each of these items, have organizational charts. So for instance, we can look at facility and operations. And you're going to see the direct reports of Dave Ross. Next, when we come down, before we leave, I'd like to give you a flavor for, here you can see the entire organization, and at the Education Service Center, part of the organization. So you can take a look at all of those various organization charts, which help you understand how work gets done. The next aspect I'd like to take a look at includes department information, and an organization chart is very helpful. However, it's pretty skeleton in nature and needs to be filled in with some more data. So in this report, we're going to take a look at two things, the department purpose and the department roles. I think it's very important for employees and anyone involved in the organization to be able to very simply articulate the purpose of their role. So what we did is the cabinet members helped articulate the various purpose of the department. So here we can see the purpose of human resources, the business office, facilities and operations. And we could do the same for teaching and learning. And again, you can see the purpose, which if you're studying an organization, helps you get the lay of the land. Next, we come down to even further, down to almost landing on the ground, and we're going to have the position descriptions. All the position descriptions have been updated, reviewed in the same template, and this can be very helpful when it comes to doing quite a few human resources activities such as hiring, when you do job analysis, and when you market price a position, you need the description, and also it just helps for communication. It can be used for performance management, to set goals and so forth. So I know some people say, oh, that's just a job description, but when it's updated, it really gives some very good direction to just about everybody. The last part of the salary study, we took a look at districts of comparable sizes, and we used the Department of Public Instruction's 2015-16 administrative salary report to do this work. And we identified school districts of comparable sizes. So here you can see a range of the number of students that are within that pool that we pulled from the state's report so we could take a closer look at it. And we chose for this report to take a look at size of schools. It could have been a different criterion that we could have looked at, but we chose that. The last part actually has the 2015-16 administrative salary report, and it's laid out in some good terms. If you look at, if you go backwards on the worksheet, you can see more information about the nature of it. There's a very expansive report that you can look at if you'd like and study, but I would direct most of your attention to the information where we benchmarked our cabinet level positions to data on the Department of Instruction. And how that helps us is it's data, and it's part of a process to ensure that we're paying competitively. And the data does give information in terms of what the going rate is for any given position, which means the 50% of the data would be below that and 50% would be above. It's a very good way to kind of see if somebody's position is competitive. And what I found when I studied this, we're paying at a competitive rate. There's nothing that's way ahead, like above the 110 percentile, nor do we have some people that are below the 90th, which would indicate that they're lagging the market, so to speak, and they're behind in their wages. So I think we're in good stead in terms of our compensation for the cabinet level staff. And that's my report, so certainly would like to address any questions or thoughts that you may have.
I don't know that I have any questions because we saw this prior. I mean, I would like to definitely thank you and Laura and all of the staff members that obviously put a lot of time into doing this project. I mean, I know when it was given, we said I think by November 30th, and at the time it felt like, oh, that was such a vast amount of time. But I'm sure this took a lot of time. I appreciate all of the data and the links so that we can go back and check the information. So I think for us it's a matter of kind of digesting, and then as we look to move forward with some other positions and some plans for the future, it will be very helpful. So just wanted to acknowledge all the staff time that went into it, so thank you all very much.
Thank you.
How much of this information do you think we can post on our website to make it more accessible to our community?
Well, I would recommend quite a few parts of it, because if you were just to take a look at the purpose, those could be short little paragraphs, and somebody just could look at it and get, oh, I get the purpose of that department. And next, I would say some of those roles, because people sometimes don't want to read a job description. They'd rather just see something in really like bullet format, so that gives them some good information. I think the org charts are very helpful for people to see the structure, to get kind of a feel for the amount of work, the kinds of work, the talent that we have here in terms of the titles and the nature of their work. So it would help educate the community in terms of the kind of work we're doing, and they may not know the inner workings, so to speak. So I think also for recruiting purposes and for new employees, for new board members, for anyone that would like to understand the organization, many times this kind of information could be very helpful.
Great.
Just my own opinion, I appreciate that there are some people that want the macro view, but I also think it would, just personally, I mean, people can disagree with me, that the position descriptions online would also be helpful, because I think a lot of the public doesn't understand the extent of some of the scope of work that some of the positions are required to do. A lot of it is required by the state. And if the position description is not available, then the public is left to make assumptions, which are usually incorrect.
I think that would be fine. My colleagues did a lot of work contributing to this, and I would like to acknowledge their work. They did a lot of advising and putting into their purpose statements and their roles and responsibilities, so that was a lot of work on their part, so I just appreciate their collaboration. Thank you.